Good morning, my friends. I am back today with a little bit of a Stitch with Me. I had a bunch of questions from my last uploaded video. So during the Stitch with Me, I hope to answer those and get a little bit of stitching done. So let's go. Alrighty. So let's see. This is still Autumn Church, so this will be the chart of the day today, and we'll see how many stitches I can get done. I am using Markup RXP today. Yeah, just wanted to give it another try. And since that leads me into one of the questions I got, someone asked me about the Ronnie Rowe design, the Williamsburg, if I was using that in Pattern Keeper. And to be perfectly honest, I have not fussed with inserting a paper chart into Pattern Keeper. However, I will tell you that I do have it in this app, in Markup RXP, and it went in so easy. All I did was scan each page of the chart on my computer. Now, I did have to put them in. Each page is like a chart in itself. I did not combine the pages in order to put it in Markup. However, but to have each page separate is really not a big deal. But it went in so easy. I scanned it with my printer, and after I scanned it, I saved it in my photographs. So I scanned it as a JPEG, and I saved it in my photographs. And I went into Markup, and where it asks you to add, when you want to add a chart, I said to add a photo, and picked one of the pages. And when it imported into Markup, it asked me, is it the whole page or just the graph? I said just the graph. Well, no, wait, back up a second. First, I had to orient it correctly. It was in a portrait, and I had to switch it to landscape. So I had to orient it properly, which was really just the press of a button. It was very easy. Once I had it oriented correctly, and I went on to next, it asked me if it was the whole page or just the graphed area. I said just the graph area. It pulled it into Markup, and it told me that it had already found the graph, and it might need just a little bit of tweaking, which it did. So what it needed was the tweaking to match up the grid from Markup RXP with the grid that was on the photo. That was very easily done. No big problem, and voila, it's in Markup. I can't search. However, it's all black. There's no need to search. You just stitch every stitch in black. So there's no need to do a search. But I can mark everything off. Yeah, I was more than pleased. Very happy with that. And I do hear, and I'm hoping it's going to be the case, I am hearing rumor that I unthreaded my needle. That the next update will include collating the pages, so it would make your chart one big chart, just like Pattern Keeper does. And to be, well, now let's thread this needle here. And to be perfectly honest, if that happens to be the case, which I'm pretty sure it is going to be, I probably will switch to markup. Well, these needles, these ballpoint needles sometimes give me a bit of a fit to thread, even with flipping the eye, and oh, there it goes, maybe in the other direction. The eye is so teeny, there we go, so teeny tiny. Now, where, oh, here. Yeah, I am probably going to switch to markup all the time. I do really like the app. I do like all the stats that it gives you. Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm a fan. And the Facebook group is so accommodating. And you mark it off just the same way as you do in Pattern Keeper. Now, it does take a little bit of getting used to their buttons. They have just the markup, the search for the symbol, and the zoom. So if you do a color, let me stick this back. Okay, so if I search for this color, and oh wait, I pressed the wrong button. If I go to just search for that color, it just adds that one stitch. See that? Instead of switching the whole thing. So then you have to take that off so that because now it would include that stitch with this color. So what you have to do is press the markup tool and then go back to the search tool. That will clear what you already had, and then you can search for that particular color. So that part takes a little getting used to, and pardon me, I am going to sneeze. It might be two. No, I think we're good for just one. Okay, so that is the one thing that takes getting used to. You have to hit the markup tool and then go back to your search tool in order to pick another color. So let me go back. Whoops. There we go. Let me go back down here and see what color we want to pick. We want to pick next. I guess we will do the clover. Whoops. See, I did it. Markup. There we go. So we're going to do the clovers first. Okay. So I hope that answers the question about putting paper charts into any of the apps. Just that alone is one of the reasons I would stay with markup as opposed to Pattern Keeper, because it was so very easy to put that chart in. Yeah. So one of the other questions I had, and I'm going to answer this one now because As you can see, my lines here are really faded and they're getting hard to see. So I had a question about the chalk pencils, and I use a Bohin chalk pencil, and I use green ceramic chalk in it. And as you can see, it wears off because you can barely see the lines at this moment. And the person was asking, Juanita, I think it was you that was asking about the video of how you use it. Well, I'm going to show you that right here. So I have my Bohin pencil, I have my green in it. Now I'm just going to, I already know where my 10 lines should be, or my line to block off 10 by 10 blocks, because they're still here very faintly, but I am going to darken them up, and the process is the same. You would count your 10 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to mark this line because I know for sure that this one's correct, and see how it, okay, so I'm just going between the threads. All right, I'm going to mark this one because I know that one, I know these are all correct, but you just go between the threads. So if I wanted to get into this one, I would count, since this is between the threads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my next one is going to be right here. And sometimes, I mean, don't be afraid to press so that you get that line. Again, I know that this line is correct here and here, so I would do the same. I would count down from this line here down 10 to get to my next line. And you know what, sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of times I have to darken these lines up because they do, with your hand brushing over, they do wear off. So given that that's the case, I have no worries about them showing through on a finished project, because chances are they're going to wear off. Something doesn't look right there. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's here. And sometimes we do this. We have the wrong line. Okay, I hope you're not hearing the neighbor using his weed eater. I don't think you are, but if you are, my apologies. Now, this does have a little eraser, so I can go in and I can erase that line that I drew in error, and then I can re-darken up. I hope you're not hearing that. Just when you think you're going to record and not have outside noises, you have outside noises. So my apologies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you could just, instead of trying to count every thread, you could just count either your over or your under thread, and count every other would make your counting a little easier. I don't think we're going to get down any further than that. So, but that's how you use the pencil. You just draw your line. Draw your line. And I like this I like this better than the markers, like the, what are they called, Mark Be Gone, or the blue markers, because they tend to spread. So even though you're trying to do a fine line, they tend to, the ink, I guess, in those tends to spread out. And then, yeah, then your line gets a little confusing. This, you can control exactly where your line is. Do you have, like I said, do you have to go over it a couple times? Probably. Do you have to redo them sometimes? Yes, because your hand and working over this is going to wear it off. But you know what? I think I'd rather have that than run the risk of having my line show through. Because we really don't want to go there. So that's that. Oh, let's see, what's my next color? 520. And I did, I think I showed you this. I did decide to go with floss away bags, and I have them in a box in numerical order, which, granted, it is not very portable, but in all honesty, it's rare that I take my Heaven and Earth design with me anywhere. So, you know, at home it's wonderful. And then what I did was I just have my thread pre-cut into the 18-inch lengths, so that I can just pull it out, take a hold of one thread. Sometimes my hands don't work. And just pull one thread out, put the whole bunch back in. Now what I do, because sometimes as we're stitching, I tend to forget, oh, what color was that I'm working on? So the color that I'm working on, I just lay on top of the box until I'm done with it. So I'll go in now and stitch, and then what I have left, I can just throw back in the bag, and everything is hunky-dory wonderful, and I'm a happy little camper. So I'll just go in, and this is only all of 3 stitches of this color. But as you see, I had a friend ask, well, not ask, she's mentioned to me that she would love to see how I'm stitching these days. So I said, well, wait for my next video and I will be showing how I do that. So basically what I'm doing is just taking a color, and I think I do have to go back up there and fill in. Yeah, I did not fill in these squares with the line, those in this column, because there's quite a few in the next column. So I did kind of let that for later, and I'm working down the diagonal, and I'm taking like the highest color, empty spot, taking that color, and then stitching it in. Okay. And since I am not on my Patoki stand today, I'm on my Nerge stand, and I'm using it on the table, which you can do. I'm ending my threads with a pin stitch, and I'm really not worrying about where I end them, Actually, I'm pretty much just doing a tacking stitch because I'm going a little further away so that they get stitched over. So I'm really not worried about them coming undone. Just do a little bit of a tack there and it shall be fine. And then we'll go in and we'll mark these off. And then we'll go back to the search. Yeah, it still sometimes is a lot of, when you're in the higher confetti area, it can be a lot of stopping and starting. But you know what? I'm going to get to a point where in just a few rows I'm going to have more of a color. So now I'm going to go with the question mark, and that is color 779. And then that is going to take us to where I can answer another question. So let's pull out some 779. See if it'll thread for me this way today. There we go. Okay. And as you see, I do start with a little bit of just a little bit of a tail, and then I really am only stitching over it one time, but that really is an elegant sufficiency for holding it in place. As long as you have it caught one time, you're good. See, it's not going to come out. Okay. And I'm going to stitch these. So that's that one. So that's that one. Yeah, this turns them the color of the thread right away once you stitch it. Oh, no, wait, you silly girl. You started at the wrong place. Okay, and you guys did not yell at me. I didn't hear you. Oops. And sometimes I do that, and that is one of the downsides of stitching this way. We sometimes get at the wrong spot. Or do I have a mistake in here? That could possibly be too, because something just does not look quite right. It could be that there was a mistake because I was not stitching this way when I was working in this area last. This area I was doing just plain old cross country. So let's see where we are here. This is, you can't see it, this is this. Oh, I was in the right spot, but it looks like there is a mistake. So this is right. Here there's a mistake. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, that's right, that's right. So it's this area in here that there is a mistake. However, guess what? This is trees. Trees. Are trees like flowers? Does it really make a big difference if I stitch all of these stitches the 779? Is it going to affect the whole pattern? Is it going to make me crazy? No, because here we can see this is correct, because that matches on my chart. The one underneath it, these two over here is the 4, and the 2 that you can see in between in the next column. So if I go over 4 into this column, this and this, they're off. So we're going to do this and this are correct. There's one off here. It's off here. It's off a little bit. It's off a little. But you know what? It's not going to make a big deal difference. So guess what? We know which ones are correct. So we are just, it's trees. It's trees. We're just going to fudge it. Just like I say when I'm in the sky. It's sky. Does it really make a big difference? No. Doesn't. So we're going to take some creative license here, and we're just going to fill this in. So that is the way it is. But now that will bring me to the next question, or another question that I had, because if you note, I'm stitching the question marks, what you can see on the screen now. Okay? There are more question marks down a bit further in that column. And the question was, how far am I willing to carry my thread? And I think, bottom line, that is just a matter of preference. That's just, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? And secondly, what thread colors will be on top of that carry. So for instance, if I'm carrying from here to here, okay, from one side of this green area here down to the other side of this green area, and say that's 15 stitches, and I have a dark color, but I'm going to be stitching a light color on top of it, then I will not make that jump, because that dark, chances are that dark color is going to show through. Now, if I'm stitching a light color and the color on top is going to be a dark color, the likelihood that I will carry that thread, yeah, pretty much I will. I will carry between 10 and 15 stitches away from the last stitch that I stitched down the diagonal. I really don't go more than 15. Reason being, because anything over that it's going to take more thread to get down to wherever it is than it's going to take to just end your thread and restart it when you get down here. Now, if I was parking, I would end my thread and I would go ahead and restart it at the next spot so that it's there when I get there. But fact of the matter, I'm not parking anymore, so I would just end it, and then when I get down to that, I would start it again. Oops, question marks. But since my last thread is here, and my next occurrence of the question marks is right here, that's only 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 5th row from where I just finished stitching. So I am going to go ahead and carry this thread down here and continue on with this color. Uh-oh, I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm so sorry. So sorry, but that will just have to wait a bit. And Barb, if you watch this, it was a cricket sound, so I know it's you, but I will get back to you when I am done here. Yeah, she often watches. She's my stitching buddy, and she often watches my videos, so she'll probably chuckle when she sees that or hears the crickets on the stream. Or not stream, on the video. Oh, so confused, so confused. Okay, now we're gonna keep going here. So let's see, what other questions did I have? I answered the how far will I carry. I answered the chalk pencil. I answered the paper charts. I talked a little bit yesterday on my progress update about the Hardanger and what I decided to do. And like I said yesterday, to graph out a whole chart and give all the instructions and teach it and all of that was just going to be way too much time. Not that I don't love each and every one of you and want to help you all learn, because I do, but I think a better way to do it is, if you want the chart that I made, I will put a link in the first video of the series that you can go download the chart. Okay? Compliments of me. And then once a week, and I have to come up, help me come up with a name for it. I think I will do it every Friday. I will upload a different stitch, whether it be one of the surface stitches or whether it be one of the filling stitches. Like 1 week I'll do picots. The next week, or 1 week, I'll do dove's eyes. The next week I'll do picots. Then the next week we'll do spider webs. The next week we'll do ships. Then there's a stitch called a faggot stitch. 1 week we'll do that, so that every week you'll get a different stitch and be able to increase your knowledge base. And if you would like the chart that I made, I will put the link. You'll be able to just go download the chart if you have through the link. It's not a big deal. And then I gave you the basic, I'm giving you the basic outline of a small doily. And then you can decide what stitches you would like to do where on that piece. And you can make it your own. So I think for everybody that will be the best way to do it. What I originally was going to do, yes, was a stitch along, and my original plan with that was to, design a chart, teach the filling stitches, but my original plan was also to graph out each filling stitch for you, and that's where all the work and all the time was going to be, just an overwhelming amount of time. And like I said, designers, you deserve every penny you get, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time. Yeah, I admire everything that you do, because it's a little bit more than yeah, what can I say? So I apologize for not actually doing a stitch along. However, I will teach you the stitches. So tomorrow's Friday, so that's, if I can get one up to, if I can do one, which I probably can, to release tomorrow, that will be the first one. And then every Friday, besides that, will give me the time in between to set up like the base. Like, does it take X amount of cluster blocks to surround the area that we're going to cut and fill, or it just gives me a little prep time for each stitch in between. And then every Friday we will I will upload a new stitch. Now, what I would like you to do is go back and review the basic stitches, okay? The basic blocks, the basic buttonhole stitch, the basics on cutting, because that is not going to be part of this. Because when I teach, say, how to do that's not there, okay. When I teach you how to do a spider web, for example, I'm not going to redo the foundation and the cutting. That I'm going to have already done, and I'm just going to teach you how to do that particular filling. So be aware of that and go back and review the things from the previous videos so that you can refresh your memories on how to do those stitches. Okay? And then every Friday we'll get a new stitch. Now, we need a name for Fridays. I thought about doing it on Tuesday and calling it Technique Tuesday, but somebody already does that. So I don't want to be a copycat. So, and Friday, I think, is a good day to have things for me to be able to have it ready and uploaded for release on a Friday. But we need to call it something. We could call it Technique Friday, but that doesn't really have any pizzazz to it. So need a name. I'll try and think of something, but if you guys have any good ideas, pop it on in here. Put it in the comments, and we'll come up with a name. Okay. But see how much faster this is? I'm really kind of enjoying this stitching style. Now, I will do it till I run out of thread, which is pretty soon. And then after I run out of thread, I will probably go back up here and take the next color and start working it down. That way I'm not wandering too far from the base of that I can work from. And that way I find, if I made a mistake, I find it quicker. And yes, sometimes I will fudge it. But I can fix it quicker if I need to fix it. And I don't tend to get lost. Like if I would run this particular color down to the whole, I mean, it's not that far anymore to the bottom of this diagonal, but that's when I start to make mistakes, and that's when I go, where am I? Oh, I have to figure that out. So I try not to wander too far from where I have a base to count off of. So anyway, that is the Hardanger issue. Help me think of a name. And this is so cute. This is so cute. Jody, I loved your little comment. You know how at the end of every video I have this saying, and it truly is the philosophy of this channel, is there are no rules in cross stitch, only the ones you set for yourself. Well, my friend Jody came up with something that we need to add to that. There are no rules in cross stitch except the ones you make for yourself. But then we need to somehow add into that, except never say never. So we have to come up with a way to refuse that, or to rephrase that, because that is so true. I fell into the rabbit hole of full coverage designs, and my comment was, oh, I am never gonna do a full coverage. Never. You will never see me do a heaven and earth design. Well, my friends, that was an incidence of when one should never say never. Because look what I'm doing now. And look at the majority of my works in progress are heaven and earth designs. So, just a case in point of don't ever say never, because usually it will come back to bite you in some form or another. So Jody, we have to come up with a way to add that to the mantra of this channel, which of course is there are no rules in cross stitch, just the rules you set for yourself. And don't ever say never. So give me some ideas how to incorporate that. So I think that's about it for today. I've covered all my topics. We're looking at about 45 minutes here. So I think we're going to call this Stitch With Me, bring it to an end. And I will work on the first installment of the Friday Hardanger series to be able to post that tomorrow. So look for that. I should be able to, let's see, it's 11 o'clock, just about 11 a.m. I should be able to record that this afternoon and have that for release tomorrow. So we'll get on with that, and I will bid you all a farewell for now, and I will talk to you tomorrow. So I hope you have a great stitchy day, and I will see you then. So remember, the only rules in cross stitch are the ones you set for yourself. Bye bye, and have a great day.